Hey, don't believe in yourself. Believe in me, the me that believes in you.
Row, row, fight the power. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Men of Zen, an anime research podcast. My name is Brent.
I'm Phil.
And Aiden couldn't be here again because I predicted the future.
Yeah.
He got the big C.
He got the Rona.
The COVID, and that's what he's battling with. Actually, he said he was doing pretty good. He had one or two last rough days. The last couple days, but he said otherwise he was feeling pretty good, but he couldn't make it today. So unfortunately, sorry, which again will lead to, I am very sorry to any of our Patreons if we have any. I know we don't, you jerks, but you can join our Patreon, patreon.com/themenofzen, and for $3 a month get access to a bonus episode every other week when we don't have times when we don't release one because Aiden has COVID, and this is a lot of work, you guys. You got to understand.
See, the good news is we've been pushing back JoJo for the last almost month now at this point because Aiden's a huge fan of it. We want to make sure he is here when that happens, and then not only will we get JoJo taken care of, we are also going to be doing a two-parter with Fate Stay in the future. So we definitely will make it up to you guys. To all of our Patreon, which I know eventually there will be. So
yeah, we'll find something to make it up to you guys. We'll do either like a special like YouTube video or something. We will come up with some content to make it up to you guys. We promise. But today we got a really fun one for you with me and Phil going here all big on some Gurren Lagann.
Row, row, fight the power.
That is indeed row, row, or dig, 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 row, row. I don't know why they're rowing. What are they rowing for?
You know, because maybe in a rowboat it takes everybody going in the right direction, the right timing.
Yes, they're in a desert.
I mean, fair, but damn.
Oh, man. Gurren Lagann, directed by Hiroyuki Imaishi and written by Kazuki Nakashima. Gurren Lagann, known in Japan as Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, which literally means heaven-piercing Gurren Lagann. It's a Japanese mecha anime television series animated by Gainax and co-produced by Aniplex and Konami. We did that last time. I love Aniplex.
They're so good with what they do.
Like, that's what we mentioned. Like, anytime they dip their hand into something, it's gold. It's so good. Gainax, we've never really talked about a ton. We've never talked about Gainax a ton before, really, because the only thing that they're super well known for is Evangelion. They've done some other shows, obviously, but Gainax is like bread and butter. Is always Evangelion, so they keep pumping out new movies and new renditions of the TV show for Evangelion. And that last one there, Konami, we've never really talked about them, but boy, they're one of my favorite just groups. The Konami Group Corporation.
Oh, yeah.
Makers of, like, Dance Dance Revolution.
Dance Dance Revolution.
Beat Mania. Is it Beat Mania? Yeah, Beat Mania with the keyboard keys. Dude, I used to love all that stuff back in high school. The Konami Group Corporation is a Japanese entertainment conglomerate and video game company. In addition to being a video game developer and publisher, it also produces and distributes trading cards, anime, pachinko machines, slot machines, arcade cabinets. They've got casinos, health and physical fitness clubs. They got their hands into everything.
Yeah, they also have some amazing game IPs that they refuse to do anything with.
Ooh, Silent.
Remember that? Remember when PT came out?
Yes.
And you shit your pants?
Yes.
And alongside me, who also shit my pants?
Yes.
And that game never came out?
We specifically bought brown pants for that night.
Yep. And I still have that game, even though you can't get it anymore because Konami are jerks with that gaming IP. But hey, you know what? We're not here to shit on Konami. You know, that's another.
Little bit.
Okay, maybe later. But hey, Gurren Lagann.
Yo.
This anime being 27 episodes long. I think 27 episodes is a great length for the show. Not too long, not too short. And all in all, it would take about 10 hours and 48 minutes to watch the entirety of the series. So you know what? You got a day to yourself. Just freaking binge it all day. It's worth it.
That's not bad, and this is a show that. So I have to use my put on my honest hat here real quick. That is personally, I don't know if I felt the same connection to this show that most other people do when they watch it, because this was my first time watching this.
Really?
Yeah, I had tried it before, and now that I have finished it, it makes it's not that it makes more sense, but the concept is more interesting. But man, I will tell you, it starts kind of interesting for me. I'm like, ooh, these people in the desert, and they're like just out there just like digging tunnels, and you're like, okay, weird. And this little kid finds a thing, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then he finds what he just calls a face on the ground, which turns into a big robot, and I'm like, okay, I get it. And then I don't know, I was like, all right, I guess it's kind of fun, but I did not know about the twist about where it goes into the future, and I'm like, oh, that's where it gets cool for me.
The show just constantly is like, hey, that big robot, you want to see a bigger robot? Oh, you want to see a bigger robot? Yeah. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Not even bigger. It's like almost a representation of humanity's technological advancement, like in real life, but just for them, like in a short scale. Like, so these people live in this time where they live underground in giant caves, and the only thing that like some of them are put to do to work as kids, I think there's some adults that do it too, or is it primarily kids that do?
They only show primarily kids in the first episode, primarily like Simone, the main character.
Yeah, so they just send kids into like these tunnels to go dig, and if they happen to find anything, to bring it back. But Simone the Digger happens to find a mysterious little drill on like a little necklace sort of chain thing, and he doesn't turn it in. He keeps this little drill, and he's like, wow, what is this little thing? And he can't figure it out. So I know that this drill starts glowing. I don't remember if it starts happening like during or before he finds the face, and he's just like, why is this thing glowing? And they're trying to like check it out.
Yeah, I don't think he finds it. Well, yeah, he finds it obviously before he finds the little mech Gurren. No, sorry, Lagann. His mech is Lagann.
Oh, yeah, that's right. His is
yeah. But eventually he does find Lagann, and it starts glowing, and essentially, kind of like what you mentioned a little bit ago, these groups of people live underground. They're forbidden to ever go above ground, and to a lot of them, they actually say the above ground doesn't exist.
Yeah, like it's a fantasy.
Yeah, like they've lived their entire lives underground, never seen the light of day. But like this is all they know, and they just say there is no above ground. It's a fantasy. They have to drill to expand their underground, civilization until one day. One day, a giant-ass robot falls through the roof and starts fighting a bikini-clad sniper.
Yoko.
And that's Yoko, one of our tritagonists of the series. And Simone, the main character, runs and grabs hold of Lagann, the little tiny robot he found, and begins to attempt his big brother character Kamina, one of the other main characters of the series, tells him, hey, get in that robot and fight it. And it's for a first episode, it goes off the wall in a great way.
And it's it is really fun. It's an easy watch. Towards the end, it gets a little, I'd say, more complicated, where you have to pay a little bit more attention to what's going on, because shit just starts happening, and it just starts happening fast, and I'm like, what in the fuck? But our like Phil said, our tritagonist, is that how you put that? She is a tritagonist.
Yoko Littner, 14-year-old warrior from Jiha Village. And Yoko is one of the most She's very noticeable. Like
Fiery?
Yeah, here's the thing. A tall, red-headed woman wearing nothing but a flame bikini and booty shorts carrying a sniper rifle is very noticeable and very memorable. And she's absolutely one of those characters that you can see her and be like, yep, she's from Gurren Lagann.
Yep.
She definitely is more memorable than a lot of other characters in this show.
Yeah.
Which is weird because we were just talking about this before we started recording, that she's the same age as Simone. And Simone is very short in comparison. Yoko does not look 14.
She almost resembles like like an older teen, 17, 18, something like that. Simone definitely just is like, he's like the kid, the little brother. Like a character. But so like, I guess with our three characters, to get into just more detail of exactly who we got, again,
yes,
we got Simone, Kamina, and Yoko. And Simone, the main protagonist of the story, he's really short, he's very unintimidating, 14 years old. He was born in Jiha village and raised by his parents until he was 7. His parents were killed in an underground avalanche caused by an earthquake. They later find out about that earthquake. Their deaths traumatized Simone to the point of both hating and fearing life underground, and likely played a role in developing his relationship with Kamina. Ironically, Simone's role in this community was to dig more tunnels and caverns to expand Jiha village deeper underground. Though he's valued as like a very skilled digger, right? Like he's really good at his job for being a kid carving out these tunnels. He was ignored by the adults of his village and snubbed by the girls, who considered him disgusting. Along with his fear of earthquakes, Simone developed low self-esteem and had many cowardly tendencies. His only friend and role model growing up was Kamina, a brash and eccentric older boy who had an obsession with escaping the underground world for the surface, which he visited as a child with his father. Which leads to Kamina, who is also from Jiha village, who dreams of leaving the village and going to the surface, which he claims he saw as a kid with his dad. So he's always got these like memories or visions. He's like, I swear to you guys, it's promising. There's a brighter future if we just burst through the wall. We'll break through the ceiling and just come out up on the surface. He's this super positive, this ultra positive guy, but he's like 18. So he's like the very athletic teen, but he resembles more of an adult, kind of. But yeah, he's like the older brother to Simone, which he never really had. So he's very encouraging for Simone when he gets, this way out. Potentially, he finds this giant robot, which I mean, in regards to other robots, this robot's really small. But when he finds this robot, he's like, we can use this to break out to the surface. And they finally do get out to the surface, and one of the first things they come across is another really big robot. Right, with Yoko, and they're fighting this big robot.
Well, no, the robot falls into their village. And basically, at that moment, like you said earlier, Simone realizes the earthquakes that happened, that killed his parents, were caused by these robots above ground. So that sparks his drive to want to fight and take down the robot.
He hates these things, but he needs to use one to take them down.
Yes, and now these robots the term is called gunmen. They are robots powered primarily and piloted primarily by a race of beings called the Beastmen.
The Beastmen.
They are like you think they're animals with human-like characteristics, but they're primarily the ones piloting these Beastmen. These gunmen. And Simone is able to use Lagann, his personal mini-sized gunman, to do battle. Now, when I say mini, I mean this robot is barely taller, if that, than Simone is, and it's just primarily a head with arms and little arms and little legs. But it has an explosive amount of power behind it, and the whole point of Lagann is it's able to power up and combine with other gunmen.
Holy Megazord.
Oh, yeah, you want Megazords? We'll give you Megazords.
We'll put a Megazord inside your Megazord and turn it into a Megazord.
So eventually, Kamina, once they escape the village, and Kamina's like, you know what? I need my own robot. And they find a gunman, and he's like, you know what? I like the way that one looks. I'm taking that one. And
it's literally a moment where one of the other characters was like, oh, we never really considered that. Just take it.
yeah, no human on the surface that's been fighting these beastmen, because the whole point of the beastmen don't want humans on the surface. They want them to go back underground. Kamina's like, why don't you ever just like take one of their gunmen? And the humans are like, yeah, we never thought of that. We didn't think we could pilot them.
What?
And Kamina eventually takes one, which he names it Gurren. And he eventually, later on in the series, find out that they can combine Gurren and Lagann together, thus forming the combined mecha robot Gurren Lagann.
Row, fight the power.
And it just goes from there. Giant mech fights. You have these amazing action sequences, great music. It's a show that really just like hypes you up. And I absolutely love this. You said you saw it for the first time. I probably watched this series close to 10 times.
Really?
It's just a fun one to go back to when I'm wanting something that's like has great action. And yeah, it always hypes me up watching this show.
It has, because again, this story takes such a big twist when like you get to a certain spot. So these people that are in these underground tunnels being repressed by the beastmen, they're being forced underground. The humans start resurfacing, and the beastmen are so adamant to keep them there, and they don't really ever tell them like why. But the humans and the beastmen, or is it that they're called the anti-spiral?
Oh no, the beastmen are they're not spiral beings, but they're not anti-spiral. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, there's some shit about spiral, and you'll hear that word quite a bit.
There's a lot of symbolism in this show.
Yes.
A lot of it. But essentially, before we get too far into it, the beastmen are led by a being they call the Spiral King.
That's what I was thinking of. It's not the anti-spiral, the Spiral King.
And his name is Lord Genome, which I thought when I first watched the series was Lord Genome, but no, it's Lord Genome.
Oh, Lord Genome.
Yeah. Not Lord Genome. It's just Lord Genome.
I literally never picked up on that. Lord Genome.
So Lord Genome is a incredibly powerful beastman, even though he looks more like a human, just really big and muscular. He leads the beastmen, and essentially his goal is to make sure that no humans ever reach the surface. He wants them entirely to stay underground. For the most part, he doesn't interfere with humans underground. He just is, if they come up to the surface, that's when he has a problem. But essentially, the first half of this show, I'd say from like episode 1 to 15, is primarily them fighting against Lord Genome. Simone, Kamina, and Yoko battle across the wasteland, gathering comrades and meeting up with other villages to form alliances. They meet some great friends along the way, and some really cool characters. And eventually they decide to go up against one of the 4 generals of Lord Genome and the Spiral King. Basically, each one is based off of obviously they're all beastmen. Sorry, I don't know where I was going with that one. But there's 4 generals, and they decide to go after all 4 generals, and eventually, once beating them, take on the Spiral King himself.
So we won't exactly say 100% how that happens, but during this, the Spiral King throws out a prophecy during like their final, or not necessarily their final. Was it their final engagement? They're fighting, and he's like,
their
when
battle.
1 million apes covers the land, and some other bullshit, a doom will come upon it. Like, so he throws out some prophecy.
Yeah. So spoiler alert: they fight the Spiral King. And they win.
Yeah, they win. We won't say how, but they do a thing. They beat the Spiral King. Ta-da! So surprised.
Yes.
But that's just the halfway point. So
right.
They beat the next big bad, and you're like, what is next?
Right. The next 12 episodes essentially just are incredibly action-packed, incredibly content-filled. Essentially, like you said, he has a prophecy saying once 1 million apes cover the land, the sky will fall, and essentially bring about the anti-spiral.
Yep.
And turns out there's a whole backstory and a full reason as to why the Beastmen, in this case Lord Genome, was so adamant on humans staying underground. Is because, in a sick way,
turns out he was a good guy.
Yep. He was originally a good guy with good intentions, but he kind of let his job and his mission become too, like, kind of drive him to a bad place.
Yeah.
Where essentially Lord Genome was an incredibly powerful warrior in the past, working with the spiral races. Essentially, spiral energy in this world is the energy of evolution, the energy to make yourself become stronger than you were before. Basically, there's a lot of drill metaphors in this anime, which is why the drill is like their main weapon that they use as Gurren Lagann. And when I say drill, I mean like a big ass drill. Their drill essentially is a metaphor for constantly going forward, constantly, pressing forward and destroying anything in your way. And the spiral races were a race of beings that are capable of evolution, constantly drawing spiral power to make themselves stronger, become better, and essentially just, constantly become stronger. No limits.
Yeah, just continue to smash through whatever the next ceiling is.
And Lord Genome was one of those warriors. And they came across a race of beings that they call themselves the anti-spiral.
Yep.
The anti-spiral are a race of beings that have somehow found this spiral prophecy that apparently leads to the end of all that we know, the end of life as we know it, because the spiral energy will eventually go out of control and destroy everything. So in their eyes, they want to protect the world and life. So they shut themselves off from spiral energy, shut themselves off from being able to evolve, and basically lock themselves away in their home world. But here's where it gets a little weird. They combine their consciousness into one entity, the anti-spiral.
Yep.
And his powers, even though he doesn't use spiral energy, is stronger than the spiral energy that they were able to, the spiral races were able to use back then.
Yep.
And I mean strong, which they don't really explain how. They just say, oh, nope, it's anti-spiral energy. And basically, they beat down Lord Genome and the other races and said that, hey, we will come back if you don't, if you stay away, we will not come back. You keep your numbers low, and as long as there's little to no spiral energy, everything's fine. So Lord Genome was like, well, all the humans that are left have to go underground because for some reason the anti-spiral technology can't sense beings underground, and as long as they are underground, they can't populate as much as they want to.
Which is weird. They have the greatest technology in the universe, and you're telling me you can't just scan a planet for life forms on the surface?
But I guess it also stops them from being able to populate a lot, being stuck underground, because you have to maintain certain population limits. You can't you can't consume as much food, so you can't have these huge civilizations underground.
Yep.
But essentially, Lord Genome was like, I'm going to be the protector of this world, and I'm going to create my Beastmen army so I can keep humans underground to keep them safe.
Yep.
But essentially, Simone and the group are like, nah, fuck that. We're not gonna let ourselves be ruled over by these beings, because once again, that drill metaphor, we will break through every single barrier, every single ceiling, and anything that stops us, anything that tries to stop us.
Yep.
And the last 12 episodes just ramp up to being, hey, we just beat this one guy who's protecting the Earth, to now a cosmic threat. Mm-hmm. And it's just insane.
Yeah, it's absolute. It's just utter insanity. It's all space battles and mecha shit, and like there's times where they form some new robot with some new power, and then immediately, like 30 seconds later, it's a different kind of looking robot with a newer power, and they just advance. And well, that's why I think this show is just this huge, really quick. I mean, it's 10 hours, but this huge really fast visualization of, you know, human advancement, of like how far we could go. I mean, they go literally from living underground, smashing rocks together, to in outer space with the greatest, like, it's like dimensional time shifting warping technology. And it just happens so fast. And it's a really good look at what happens to humanity and civilization, because at that halfway point after they defeat Lord Genome, it does a really big time skip.
Yep, about 7-year time skip.
Yeah, so it shows humanity evolved, living on the surface, and like big cities, and forming, you know, like special like governments and stuff. So you introduce a whole lot of new characters. One of the more interesting ones that comes about that's a key role in this is Nia.
Ooh, yep.
Yeah, a mysterious young girl was found sleeping in a capsule in the middle of a dump site by Simone. She had no prior contact with humans except her father, who is also the sovereign of the Beastmen, the Spiral King. She's very curious, pure and innocent, due to growing up sheltered in a peaceful environment, away from all the battles occurring in the outside world. Despite early misgivings, she is quickly accepted by Team Gurren, much to the initial irking of Yoko. Yoko was like really kind of leery about Nia. During her journey, she develops a strong empathy towards Simone and grows to be his fiance.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna get married.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a good time, but uh-oh, some bullshit prophecy comes true. Whoops, wouldn't that just be your luck? Damn.
Yep. So turns out she is a creation of the anti-spirals to be activated when the spiral, nemesis, or I guess the number of once a million apes or a million people.
She's like a sleeper agent.
Yeah,
like
essentially.
She secretly is like counting the population, and as soon as like she reaches 1 million, she's like, well, there's 1 million, and she like is basically the go between she contacts like, you know, this anti-spiral, and then she turns into a whole different person. She loses her personality.
Yep.
She becomes very like robotic and unresponsive to almost anything and everything, other than, what was it, she gives them like, what was it, like 2 weeks or some
Yep, basically
like, it's like, in 2 weeks the anti-spiral will come and obliterate your world. And
yep.
Simone's like, come on, what do you mean, we're getting married, come on.
And it just, when you think about like how drastically the tone shifts after the first 15 episodes, because there's essentially 3 different animation styles for this show. Mm-hmm. The animation style for the first 15 episodes is, you know, kind of, I'd say like an older school like animation style.
Reminds me of like Digimon, the movie.
Yeah.
Is kind of what it reminds me of.
Yeah, then the second animation style is from like episode 16 through, or for a couple episodes. You know, it's still like, it's kind of an evolution of that first season.
It turns into Gundam Wing.
And yeah, but then like when they like leave the planet and become like, you know, like they start like fighting in space, the animation changes again. And actually, there's a big difference with like Simone's design.
Yes.
He gets more muscular. His chin becomes more visibly defined.
Yeah.
His hair gets
Reminds you a
spikier.
lot like Kamina.
Yeah, exactly. And there's not really an explanation why they just changed the style. It just fit their role, like the genre they were going for, almost. Like,
yeah. Well, with the time skip, like, they do have to add obviously some age somewhere, but they can't make him unrecognizable.
Right.
So I get that, but yeah, like Simone turns into another Kamina kind of character, where Team Gurren or Gurren Lagann, you know, they go to all these different villages and then they do the big thing, they defeat the king. Well, they become this like heralded group of people that like everybody looks up to. So Simone, just almost by default, becomes the leader of the new world.
Yep.
He doesn't want it. He doesn't want that responsibility.
He just wants to keep fighting. That's where he finds his personal, you know, happiness, is being able to fight and defend people.
But that's the position he's in. He's the ruler, and he's kind of like, whether you like it or not, he's like, I have all these responsibilities, and he doesn't want to have them. He just wants to be like, I don't know, free and just, you know, do the thing like he was doing with Kamina.
Right. Like the enemies that they, like I was talking about the tone shift. When they meet the anti-spiral enemies, and they're just, you know, you saw them. They were like prism-like beings.
They're
and
like you're not supposed to be able to perceive them. Like they're multi-dimensional. They're so advanced, sort of thing. Like
they can't
perceive it.
Yeah, these enemies attack Earth. They have incredible barriers that most of the robots they designed, like the gunmen based off Gurren Lagann, are not strong enough to fight them. So they have to bring out Gurren Lagann, which they don't want Simone ever fighting and having Gurren Lagann fight, because that just shows them that they can't defend the people without him, and his advisor just doesn't like that.
Yep.
He's able to destroy them, but unfortunately these beings also have kind of a self-destruct sequence where if they lose, they blow up into tiny little particles, and those particles then explode on contact and causing more destruction. And while he was trying to save the city, he ended up destroying a large portion of it, which then, of course, people demand...
my house! Yeah, my cabbages!
They demand someone to blame, and of course, the quickest person to blame is Simone, piloting Gurren Lagann.
Yep, it's easy to blame, like, so again, he was the hero before, but now they're so comfy. They live their comfy lives, and they don't want to give up anything. So, to protect the universe, or the entire world, Simone goes out with, Gurren Lagann. He accidentally destroys some stuff. Oops. But then you've got old man over there who's like, oh no, my precious, my bed, where am I going to sleep? Oh, boo-hoo, would you rather be dead? But that's legit how that shit would be. Like, in real world, people would be pissed over the most, like, trivial bullshit. I would look them dead in the eyes and be like, fuck off.
Yeah, it's insane. So basically, his advisor, oh my god,
Was it Rossiu?
Rossiu, yep. Voiced by Johnny Young Bosch later on after the time skip. Great actor. Met him, great guy. He basically he doesn't like that Simone is constantly like breaking their own rules. That like it's stupid because he's the fucking leader.
Yep.
He's the one that saved everybody. He leads this world, but yet like Rossiu is so obsessed with people's perception and trying to save the most amount of people. The most I guess the most logical way to say it.
Yeah.
And he essentially takes over and blames and uses Simone as a scapegoat for everything. His whole goal is, hey, the anti-spirals are going to kill us in 2 weeks. We need to get as many people out of here as possible. And they find out there's a giant ass spaceship underneath Lord Genome's palace where they created their new capital. Turns out it's Lord Genome's spaceship when he was fighting the anti-spirals back in the day. So he decides, hey, we're going to put as many people in this ship as possible, and we're going to head out to space because they've done the projections. Basically, the anti-spirals will destroy the Earth, the surface of the planet.
Yep.
And then he thinks they will leave once that happens. So they'll go to space, then come back, and then rebuild.
Yep.
And they just want to put as many people as they can on the ship, which is maybe not even half the population can fit on that ship. He says the rest of them will go underground again. Nope. Turns out that's what the anti-spirals predicted would happen. And they have a basically defense outside, the Earth's orbit, waiting for anybody that decides to go out.
Yep.
So they tricked them. Rossiu, thinking he was so damn smart, realized he fell for a trap and now leads most of the people. Actually, not even, because he had to leave a lot of people that were trying to get on the ship because he was like, there's no time. We have to leave, even if it means sacrificing more people. We got to save the majority.
Yep.
And in that moment when he's in space, possibly on the cusp of dying, he's like, oh my God, what have I done? I've been an idiot. I just wanted to save people, and I've led people to their deaths. What can I do? That's when fucking Simone comes in.
Boom.
And saves the goddamn day.
He's back, baby.
And he's like, how to fix this? Put my giant robot inside of another giant robot.
Yes.
And
they do it.
That's a metaphor for this entire show. Putting robots inside robots inside robots.
A Russian nesting robot.
And I know we're kind of talking a lot about the plot to this show, but it's such a good...
Oh, yeah.
It's such a good anime.
There isn't really, I would say, any unpredictable outcome with this show. It's just crazy to see, you know, how far humanity goes to try to save itself, you know, from an enemy. And that's interesting because, you know, the anti-spiral were basically just like them at one point, and because they had taken that same evolutionary path, they're like, no, we're going to stop you before you go too far, because effectively they're like, we know what it's like. We've been there, and we decided to give it up because it's terrible. So they reached this end point where they believe that if people continue to advance, it's just they're gonna basically destroy themselves anyway. So to prevent them from destroying themselves, they're gonna stop them in the process by, you know, making sure that life is like limited. Yeah. They can never get too overpopulated, or they can never make too many advancements. So when they say they've predicted like certain outcomes, it's because they just know, you know, what's going to happen. But not just there, they know what's going to happen after that. Then they know what technological leap they're going to make after that, and they keep having these predictions, and it happens again and again. It's really interesting, though, just to see where the anti-spiral goes. And then again, you know, they get to like basically the edge of the universe, and the anti-spiral is like, I knew you would make it this far, and I'm like, you did not, that's the thing you said the last time. You said they would know. Well, if you knew, how come they made it here?
They constantly had like booby traps set up that would activate every time they thought they got past the last trap. There'd be another one there. Like, these anti-spiral races really put in the work to stop them from ever becoming, you know, powerful beings.
Yeah, and it's a great flashy series with a lot of great action. It's a super fun watch.
Imagine like
10 hours to waste in a day.
Yeah, imagine like anime Power Rangers, Gundam. It's just like some of the goofiness of Power Rangers, but they made it actually cool.
And you'll find out why when we get into some of the information about the creators. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's really just like, I actually had the spiral necklace that Simone wears.
I remember that.
Yeah, I had
that thing forever.
Yeah, because I also kind of looked at it as, you know, as the anime. Like, this drill will constantly, you know, I'll keep moving forward. I'll constantly just, you know, I'll make it. You know,
that'd make a great tattoo.
You know, right?
Get like a drill on your. Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
And you know what? I think I gave it to the girl I was dating at the time.
Oh, sad.
Yeah, I know. I regret that decision. There's so much regret.
The deep regrets.
So much regret.
Well, before we move into some other information here, do you have anything else you want to add about the show?
I feel like the show ended kind of abruptly, maybe. Like they tried to wrap up so much in the last episode that it probably could have done with another episode after that, but
I could see that.
Overall, I think that 27, 28 episodes is fantastic.
Yeah.
I do also know that there's a movie that encompasses almost the entirety of the series in a hour and a half to 2 hour long movie.
I did not know that.
Yep. Where they have a little bit of a different ending too.
Huh. That'd be a really fun watch to do that.
I'll see if I can.
Like, if I'm gonna rewatch it, just watch the movie instead. That'd be fun.
Right. Like, I've never watched the movie itself, but I do know that the final mech is slightly different in the movie than it is the anime. It's really cool, actually. Let me find it if I can find it.
Yeah, you're good.
There's a lot of content here.
Yeah, well, while you're looking through some stuff, I'll give you a little bit of information about the Gurren Lagann broadcast info. In North America, although initially announced to be licensed by ADV Films in 2007, you remember them from Ghost Stories.
Yeah.
The license was transferred to Bandai Entertainment in 2008, and then transferred to Aniplex of America in 2013. In the UK, it was licensed by Manga Entertainment in 2007, and then transferred to, and this is one that I could never figure out what the name is actually called. It's BEEZ Entertainment. Do you think that would be pronounced Bees Entertainment or Be-Easy Entertainment? I don't know which.
Better than D's Nuts Entertainment.
Bees Entertainment. That was transferred to Bees in 2008, and then transferred again to Anime Limited in 2013. Bees, Be Easy, is the European branch of Bandai Entertainment that also distributed anime and music and was also owned by Bandai Namco Holdings. The name is an acronym for Bandai Entertainment European Zone. So I guess it could be Bees, but I don't know, Be Easy sounds like a hip hop record label. Like, hey man, welcome to Be Easy Records. You're gonna listen to some fine jazz tunes and be easy. The Sci-Fi Channel acquired broadcasting rights of Gurren Lagann and began airing the anime in July 2008 as part of Sci-Fi's Animunde anime block. I did not know that was ever a thing until this, because I didn't watch like Sci-Fi Channel. I need to know more about Animunde. The anime won several awards at the Tokyo International Anime Fair and Animation Kobe and Japan Media Arts Festivals. I don't know what Animation Kobe is. Ooh, I didn't look at this. Kobe. Animation Kobe was an event established by was it Kobe in 1996 to promote anime and other visual media. Kobe is Japan's 7th largest city after Kawasaki. Oh, okay, cool. All right, that makes sense. Yeah, that was one thing that I did not look into. A manga adaptation was published by... Ooh, this is, again, that other one that I didn't know how it was pronounced. Is it ASC2 or ASCCII? ASCLL? It's got to be ASC2 because those are all caps. They were published between 2007 and 2013. Bandai Entertainment licensed the manga and released it in English in North America. A series of 4 light novels was published by Shogakukan between 2007 and 2008, and there was a Nintendo DS game released in October 2007 that was bundled with a special episode of the anime series. 2 animated film versions were produced. The first premiered in Japan in theaters in September 2008. The second premiered in April 2009. Gurren Lagann ran for 27 episodes on TV Tokyo between April and September 2007. Oh, you know what's really interesting? So each title, or each episode title, like the name of the episode, is a line that is spoken by a character in the show. What's interesting is the characters change every few episodes. So in episodes 1 through 8, whatever the name of the episode is, Kamina says those lines. In episodes 9 through 15, Nia says them all. In 17 through 22, Rasiu says them. And then 23 through 27, Simone says them. So you can almost break them up between, you know, the 4 main chapters. Kamina, Nia, Rasiu, and Simone. Like where the weight falls, I guess, the most, like who is living out their main part of the story right then and there, sort of like, yeah, Simone is there, but a lot of it is about Kamina. It's really interesting that I thought that was kind of cool. There were some more examples of that. This is all on like fandom.com, wiki, my anime list, GurrenLagann.fandom, you know, stuff like that. So you can find all this info online if you want to look, but that's why you come to us, because we do the part for you.
Yeah, and these were really fun.
Yeah. What was it that you found, Phil? You were looking for something?
Yep, so I found out the name of the robot is the Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, which translates to Super Heaven Piercing Gurren Lagann. It is the final form of the mech that appeared in the movie Gurren Lagann the movie. The lights in the sky are stars.
Man. They just get wild with those names. I love when they do, like, this is the super mega ultra power Zord.
Oh yeah, dude, it just gets crazier. Every time you think they got a big enough robot, they're like, nah, sucker.
This is bigger super mega ultra power mega Zord. I fucking know. I love that shit.
It's insane.
They just gotta go big.
Gotta go big or go home.
Yeah, that's what I always said. That's what my mom always said too. My dad and his dad and my dad's dad's dad. My grandpa, they always said. Yeah, you know who we're speaking of my dad. Let's talk about the
speaking of my dad.
Speaking of my dad, let's talk about the writer.
Yeah, please talk about him. I want to hear about the genius of the man who made this.
Genius Kazuki Nakashima, the writer born on August 19th, 1959 in Fukuoka, Japan. We've heard of that place before. He's a Japanese playwright, a novelist, a contributing editor, and screenwriter. In addition to working on Getter Robo, he is a fan of Ken Ishikawa. He took pride in being a, quote, getter person. There's not a ton of information on this guy specifically, the writer. He does have some screenwriting credits for some anime like Kill la Kill, BNA or Brand New Animal, Back Arrow, some live action shows like Ultraman Max, Kamen Rider W, or Kamen Rider 4s. He's all over the place in so many of these things, but he's just a writer. He's in the background. But like I said earlier, he's a big fan of Getter Robo and Ken Ishikawa. Well, who is Ken Ishikawa? I had to ask myself. Born June 28th, 1948, unfortunately passed November 15th, 2006. He's a Japanese manga artist, renowned as the co-creator of the Getter Robo anime series, as well as 4 other subsequent manga continuations. According to Nagai, he was considered Ishikawa his greatest friend and ally. Ishikawa collapsed at a dinner banquet after golfing. He was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The causes of death were acute heart failure. So he was the co-creator of Getter Robo with Go Nagai. Who's Go Nagai? A Japanese manga artist and prolific author of science fiction, fantasy, horror, and erotica. He made his professional debut in 1967. He's best known for creating popular 1970s manga and anime such as Cutie Honey, Devilman, and Mazinger Z. I've heard of all of these.
Yeah.
He's credited with creating the super robot genre in its entirety. So, like Gurren Lagann, like you're talking about how like there's Sentai and Megazords and all that shit. This guy practically created it.
Oh shit!
He created people go in big robots combined together.
I like him.
He created this.
I like this guy.
He's amazing. He was considered a pioneer for the magical girl genre with Cutie Honey. He was the first person to do a person within a cockpit using Mazinger Z, and he was the first to creating super robots or robots that combine and become bigger robots. He became a character design professor at the Osaka University of Arts, and he has been a member of the Tezuka Osamu Cultural Prize nominating committee since 2009. Go Nagai, very prominent. Now, I know I mentioned Getter Robo. I had to look into this because this is apparently one of the very first like Sentai robot big combining shits.
Oh.
A super robot manga series created by Ken Ishikawa and Go Nagai, as well as an anime series produced by Toei Animation. The series was broadcast on Fuji TV from April 4th to 1974. With a total of ran from April 4th, 1974 to May 8th, 1975. There was a total of 51 episodes. The series was groundbreaking in the anime mecha genre for the very first time. It introduced the concept of separate machines combining to form a super robot. Using 3 jets, Getter Robo could combine in 3 different ways to create 3 different versions of Getter Robo for different conditions and situations. The idea was originally discussed during the creation process for Mazinger Z, which was the first super robot to be piloted internally, but was dropped and then developed for Getter Robo. This idea of combination and transformation proved to be a very powerful concept that has been used in the super robot genre ever since. The plot involves 3 strong-willed teenagers, Ryoma, Hiato, and Musashi, who pilot 3 specially designed combat jets, the Eagle, Jaguar, and Bear, which can be combined into 3 different giant robots, Getter 1, Getter 2, and Getter 3. One more balanced for flight combat, another more for fast ground combat, and the other for strong marine combat. They were assembled by Professor Sayotome, who conceived the Getter Robo project as a means of deep space exploration. The Getter machine is powered by an energy source known as Getter rays, which are the invisible manifestation of the pilot's willpower. It became instead Earth's first line of defense against the Dinosaur Empire, a civilization of reptile-like humanoids who evolved from the now extinct dinosaurs that roamed the Earth millions of years ago. They have lived many years underground after being forced to do so by Getter ray radiation from space that did not affect the apes who evolved into humans. They now want to reclaim the Earth as theirs and destroy humanity. How close to fucking...
That's very similar.
Right?
to wow, that's very similar.
It's Gurren Lagann, like the prototype. It's the same damn show. Seriously, but no, it sounds awesome. I want to check that out. The last bit of information I've got here about the director, Hiroyuki Imaishi. Now, this guy I got quite a bit on. He's a treasure trove of information. He's just a nerdy-looking 40-year-old. I don't know how to call him. He doesn't look like he's not. I don't know nothing. He's just he's a nerdy-looking 40-year-old. Born October 4th, 1971. Libra for life. His pen name. Imai Tunes, like his last name, Imaishi. He's a Japanese key animator and animation director and one of the co-founders of Studio Trigger. Trigger is a big deal. His style is marked by fast and frantic animation combined with elaborate storyboarding and punchy direction. Prior to founding Trigger, he was an animator and director at Gainax. His most well-known works include Gurren Lagann, Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt, Kill la Kill, Promare, and Star Wars Visions.
Ooh.
Yeah. So when I found this out, I had to go back and rewatch this episode, and man, it's the only one that I think of whenever I think of Star Wars Visions. I don't know if you've seen any of that.
That's the one that was on Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
I never got to, actually.
It's just a bunch of short animated episodes with unique animation each episode. None of them are linked together. It's just a short story. In episode 3, which is the one he was the director for, called Twins. So Twins is it's this brother and sister, right? They are twins, but they are said to have been born from the dark side of the Force, right?
Okay.
So they have this crazy fucking ship that's what's two Star Destroyers attached together, and in the middle is this giant engine-looking thing that's actually a super-powered laser. Basically, these twins each run half of this ship that is connected together at like the hip. It looks fucking weird. Believe me, this episode is fucking bananas. So it's these twins that were born on the dark side who are Sith, who are piloting these giant Star Destroyers attached together with a giant laser in the middle, and the giant laser can blow up a planet, but it needs to use this crazy big honking fucking piece of kyber crystal. So they are about to fire the laser, and before they fire the laser, they go to the sister. She's dressed in like this suit that almost looks like a skin tight Darth Vader suit is really what it looks like. And this suit, at the beginning of the episode, she is warned that the suit is dangerous. It's untested. It's got some new technology in it. They don't necessarily say what, but it's got some new tech. So she goes to fire the laser, and the laser is like not working. So they're like, what the hell is going on? So she storms down to like the main engine room where this thing should be, and she brings a bunch of troops with her. And there's another Sith guy over there, like another Darth Vader looking motherfucker. Okay. But he has the crystal, and he like has it in this little, like a jar, and he's like about to fucking jet. And she's like, that's my bro. What the fuck were their names? It was it was like Kare and Am, I think is what it was. Kare and Am. So Kare is the boy, Am is the girl. So Kare has this crystal, and he's about to run, and his sister Am is like, stop right there, blah blah blah, you need to give that back right now or I'm gonna kill you. And they do the whole thing. Yep. But so Kare rips off like his Sith uniform, and he basically looks like if Luke Skywalker was wearing Han Solo's outfit. He's like this little plucky blonde kid with blue eyes who looks kind of like Han Solo, but he's like, I'm good now. I discovered that everyone should have the right to live, and we can't do this. I changed sides, just like out of nowhere. He's like, I'm good. And then she's like, no, you can't. So they get into this crazy tug of war with the Force. So I guess before that, they do the whole, he tries to jet off in like an X-Wing with the crystal, and she's like, no, get back here. And she pulls the X-Wing out of the sky and like rips him and the crystal out of the ship. They're outside on the Death Star, the Star Destroyer, just fighting in space with no suits. Like they're legit just
that doesn't
standing.
seem right.
They're just in space with no protective anything, which is crazy. That's why this whole episode is like it's just bananas. They get into this fight over the crystal now, and they both have a hold on it on the Force, and they pull the crystal in half like a wishbone. And she takes her kyber crystal half and inserts it, like her chest piece opens up like in Darth Vader's, and she puts the kyber crystal in her suit. And I'm like, what in the fuck? He puts his in his lightsaber. Basically, he's full-blown Luke Skywalker now. He's got a blue lightsaber. He's fighting for the light. He's blonde, blue-eyed, fighting for the light. She goes full-blown, like, evil Sith bitch and fucking she puts this crystal in her suit, and her suit, again, it was this experimental thing. Her suit is like the Iron Spider from the Avengers, when it has like, you know, the whooshy, the legs that come out from the back. It's like that, except each one is like a lightsaber, and it can make the light flex like a whip. So it's not just a straight jab. It can like, you know, like bend and wiggle and shit. But she has 6 of them. So she's like whipping lightsabers at this kid using her suit. She's not even armed yet. It's fucking crazy. And they are outside in space, and he's basically battling humanoid android suit Grievous versus Luke Skywalker, literally in the middle of space with no protective gear. And the way that he wins is fucking absurd. So he tells his robot, I think his robot's name was Arduo, and they're in this, he's like, the only way I can win is with brute force, and he's like, I'm gonna cut these Star Destroyers in half, like the whole ship. So he does like the anime power up shit of like, this is it, and he powers up his lightsaber, and his lightsaber goes like fucking huge, like 90 foot long, and it like explodes. He's like, it's like the Goku of lightsabers.
Oh my god.
And he gets in the X-wing upside down with the cockpit lid like left open, and he's just standing in the X-wing, and he goes, R2, punch it, like they're gonna go into hyperspace, and he's got this big ass thing, and he flies under the Star Destroyer upside down and like slices it like completely in half, like through the belly of a beast sort of thing. But he's got like a 1,000,000-foot long lightsaber traveling at light speed, and he just goes, and the ship just is sliced in half clean.
That's just no.
Dude, it's intense.
That does feel like something that would happen in Gurren Lagann.
Hiroyuki directed that.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Dude, that makes all the sense.
So
then.
good. It is 100% anime. They even do the however. Like there's even a however moment. I'm like, yo, how anime fuck is this? It's so good though. I loved it. I watched it again last night. I was like, yep, this is the one I was thinking of. Like that's the only one in Vision's worth watching, I feel like. There's good episodes, don't get me wrong, it's really cool, but man, that one is just so fucking bonkers. I
do need to check those out, absolutely. Like you should check out Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
This show is just off the walls.
Dude, yeah.
What I was actually gonna say is I forgot to say this earlier, but like during their travels they of course come across like a group of guys who end up stealing their own gunmen. And essentially join Team Gurren, Team Dai Gurren as like their warrior force. And these guys are like a close group of dudes, and throughout their fights, they get closer and closer. They help each other. They're constantly supporting each other. And during this, during the time skip where they're fighting in this new world, all of these warriors are put into these government type roles. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them just don't care. They don't want to be in these roles. They were just put there because, of course, they're the ones who help.
Out of necessity, yeah.
Yeah, they help save the world, so they're
the leaders.
But, like, they don't care. So the moment that they get to essentially become fighters again, they bring out their gunmen. And I love this when they find out that these robots they had built that were designed after Gurren Lagann can't fight these new anti-spiral enemies. But the old warriors hop back into their gunmen, which are still around. Which at first they were we were told that these gunmen were destroyed after the war with Lord Genome because there was no reason to have them. They were remnants of the old Spiral King Empire, but secretly they were kept hidden and maintained, so that these guys got their essentially their Gundams back, and they got to help fight. And they all of a sudden realized, wait a minute, our weapons, like the gunman weapons, work against anti-spiral enemies.
Yep.
And it all starts clicking. It all starts, wow, of course they would work, because these were the types of weapons that were used against them in the war. Mm-hmm. And it's just seeing these guys happy to be back fighting, which is what they're good at, what they were meant to do. Seeing them fight, their teamwork is great. It just, oh God, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it again.
Dude, absolutely.
Yeah, and I did find out there are 2 movies for Gurren Lagann.
Yep.
Now, the sad part is they are literally just shortened versions of the anime. The first one is called Gurren Lagann, the movie Childhood's End, or in Japan it was called Geki Joban Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann Gurren Hen, which essentially takes place from episodes 1 through 11, with elements of episodes 12, 13, and 14 added in for the sake of brevity.
Oh.
But then you have the other movie, which is for episodes 15 through 27. Basically, yeah, if you want to see the entire series in about, 3 hours, that's probably your way. I haven't watched them. I kind of want to, just to see how much content they have to remove in order for them to, compact it in such a small amount of time.
Yeah.
But I feel like doing that just does a disservice, because you want to see these guys and their wacky adventures.
I wonder if this really is more so for the people who have already seen it, just to get like I need like my quick fix, man. Like, I want to watch Gurren Lagann, but I don't necessarily have like 11 hours to do it. I just want a little bit. Just give it to me fast. Like, if they know what happens, I think that's kind of cool that they do that. But for a series as short as Gurren Lagann is, I don't know if it's necessary. Like One Piece does it. I mean, obviously One Piece is a huge anime with like 1,000, if not over 1,000. But you know what really needs to do it is Pokemon. They really need to do this with Pokemon and show, because that has over 1,000 episodes too. And I would love to go back.
Fucked, One Piece.
Yeah, like I'd love to go back into some of the original series and just do a really fast like boss rush of like all the greatest fights, and then just do that and move on. Not worry about the Butterfree has to be free.
Hey, don't be talking bad about Butterfree.
Yeah, we all admit it. We all cried when we watched that.
I still cry.
The 9-year-old me is shedding so many tears for that Butterfree.
I cry at that moment, but not as bad as Pidgeot after he told him, "I'll come back for you." Biggest lie in Pokemon.
Liar.
He was like, "I'll come back and get you." Goes through 8 different regions afterwards, and
1,000 episodes later,
and still hasn't come back for his boy.
Dude, that Pidgey, that thing is dead.
The thing is just like, where the fuck is he?
Nah, he's got to be dead. There's no way that bird's still alive.
And like, he's gone back to Pallet Town multiple times, and that's right around that area. So it's like, where is his Pidgeot?
Yeah, he's the Lord of the Woods now.
Well, you know what? Lord of the Woods needs to come back to his boy.
Yeah, he's busy, okay? He's tried to schedule an appointment, but he just can't get in to see the Lord of the Woods. He's booked up. He's got special bird stuff.
Got bird things. He's a wonderful person and a great bird.
The great bird.
Some fun facts here. I wanted to give you a little bit of rundown here. Apparently, there is a lot of symbolism, not only like with like drills and constantly moving forward, but apparently there's a lot of biblical symbolism in the show.
Do tell.
For example, Simone and Kamina's names are very symbolic. Kamina is the Japanese name for God. This is from what I'm reading here. And Simone was named after Simon Peter, an apostle to Jesus Christ.
Oh, interesting.
Other biblical characters include Yoko, who represents Mary Magdalene.
Wow.
And Rossiu as Noah, which makes sense, actually, thinking like he tried to get as many people on that ship
on the
out
ark.
of there. Yep.
Yeah.
And then finally, Lord Genome as Satan.
Wow.
Yeah, that definitely made me think about it in a different way.
That's crazy. I never would have like really put that together. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. Very interesting. Apparently, let's see here, other fun things. Apparently, Yoko's age was one of the biggest mysteries in the show for the longest time. Because obviously she is very well developed for a character, and people didn't want to assume she was a child because of how developed she was. Apparently, though, they did officially reveal that she is 14 years old, which makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Anime,
here.
man.
Fun fact for me, actually, with the show, the first time I watched this was on Netflix, and for some reason, there was one episode missing on Netflix.
No way.
Yeah, the battle, so without going into details about a certain incident that happens in the show early on, it's the episode where they fight the first of the generals, where they're trying to take over his flagship.
Okay.
So literally, there's the episode where they're about to fight him. Mm-hmm. The episode where they actually fight him and that incident happens is gone.
Oh, that would be so weird.
Yeah, so I watched it, and then like all of a sudden the next episode plays, and they're talking about this event that happened in the previous episode. I'm like, what? And I quickly exit out, and I'm like, did I miss something?
Yeah.
And nope, it was 26 episodes. There was one missing. Mm-hmm. So I did, for the longest time, for some reason, that episode was missing. It eventually got added back to the show. But yeah, that's how I found out.
There was
that
another
happens.
show that did that too. Was that Blue Exorcist?
It might have been Blue Exorcist.
Yeah, there was one where like Hulu had one version, but then Netflix had another, and Hulu had like far more episodes than Netflix had, but Netflix's were also like all out of order. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
But can you imagine?
No,
can you imagine?
It wasn't. It was like a feudal Japanese show. I remember we watched it at like way back when you lived at your old parents' house. We tried watching it. It was. I feel like this was either that or this was back at the apartment when we were roommates.
Yeah.
There was something really weird. Oh, it was like a spirit, like fuck, I can't remember, like something to do with like a family spirit.
Maybe.
Like
okay, wait.
Like a bunch of ghosts or something.
That's coming back to me.
Yeah.
That's coming back. Maybe. I can't remember what it was called, but yeah, can you imagine watching this and then finding out like that particular event happening?
Yeah.
But you don't get to see it?
No.
It just kind of you just skip past an entire episode of fighting in this giant epic battle.
That was the episode too real to be seen by American eyes.
Yeah, apparently. So that was my first, viewing of this show, and I got fucked. But watching it, when I got to finally watch that episode, it was, it's the feels, man. And this show just has so much, like those speech moments where like they're hyping you up, telling you like what's gonna happen.
This is your moment. You only got one shot, Simone. Do not miss your chance to blow.
I was wondering if you were gonna go with that.
This opportunity comes once in
a lifetime.
You gotta believe in me that believes in you.
The believe in the me that believes in you, and it's absolutely. Oh man, I'm trying to find the quotes that it's just here we go. One of these quotes was, here we go. Even if trapped by karma's cycle, the dreams we left behind will open the door. Even if the universe stands against us, our seething blood will determine what shall be. We'll break through time and space and devour all who would hold us down. Team Dai Gurren.
God, Kami is the man.
Yeah, like, it's insane. Like, there was so much of those. Like, the more they talked right before they did something really cool, just hyped me up. But yeah, it's one of those shows that I think a lot of people in the anime community know about and have watched and have really good opinions. Like we did the last episode, I did want to take a look here and read you guys some reviews for Gurren Lagann. Right now, Gurren Lagann is sitting at a 4.8 out of 5.
Damn.
So, slightly less than Angel Beats, but you know what? These are very different anime.
Man, a 4.8, I will take. That's as close to perfect as you're going to get, because not everyone's going to like this shit.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
That's solid. And it's done by Aniplex.
There you go. See, here we go. One guy gave it a 5-star review saying, "I can't even begin to describe how fantastic the show is. It is absolutely phenomenal. You might find yourself growing bored in the first few episodes, but after finishing Gurren Lagann and looking at the entire plot as a whole, it's quite possibly the greatest anime of all time. The message, the themes, the plot events, the characters and fights are all top of the line, exquisite and captivating." We have other reviews like this one here. 5 stars. Just perfect. The emotion, inspiration, animation, characters, plot, soundtrack. It's just all at its peak. Yeah, the soundtrack for this show is so good.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's see. Seeing characters go through responsibility, depression, the loss of characters, and doing what is right no matter how hard it is. Another review, 5 stars. I will admit this is now taken my number 2 spot of favorite anime. Number 1 being My Hero Academia, 2 is Gurren Lagann, and 3 is One Punch Man.
Can you find out what's a bad review? Give me a bad one.
Ooh, that's a good. Can I look at the bad reviews? Let me see. Filter 1 star. Here we go.
Yeah.
No 1-star reviews.
What?
Number 2. Here we go.
It's perfect.
Here we go. Here's number 2. I found a 2-star review. I love this anime. It was sad and they didn't spell emotional right, but they spelled it EMOSHINAL. Emotional for me, but the explosions are the best. The art was very good. This is my favorite anime. Thanks whoever made this anime.
2 stars. My favorite anime. Loved it.
They gave it a 2-star review because apparently a character they like did not make it, so they that does not count. Yep.
That's biased. I want an honest to God good reason for they take away their favorite anime, but 3 stars because someone dies.
Ooh, here we go. Another 2-star review. This one you'll find funny.
Okay.
This show had a lot of potential, as the world was quite interesting. Underground dwellers, monsters controlling giant mecha machines. But personally, the characters weren't likable to me, which made it a bit of a boring and dragged out plot. You're wrong, first off. But my biggest issue with the show is that Yoko, a sexualized character, is canonically 14 years old. It's not okay to sexualize a minor character, and I won't look past that to see the redeeming qualities of the show. I'll give him that.
I can agree with some of that.
Yoko is put into a lot of positions where, the angles, because she always has to, crouch low and to, shoot her sniper rifle. She does lose her top a few times. And she's wearing a bikini and booty shorts.
This is just one of those shows where obviously the artists almost every artist when they have a character like this in a show, they always say it's just because I like cute girls, and they just do it because they just want to draw it.
I think if they had made her 17 or 18, it would have been a problem. But because they did canonically make her 14, the same age as Simone, which still makes no sense.
Right.
That's the problem.
I wonder how do we know that? Did they
the director, so the author?
Oh, he just straight up said it.
He said it. Now get this one. This is a great review. 2 stars. Absolutely amazing. 5-star. Best show ever. Better than JoJo.
Does it really say that?
Yes, it does. And then in big all caps, LOL. But he also gave it 2-star.
Yeah. What the fuck?
The final 2-star review, 2 stars. This is not better than One Piece.
Wow, that's a fucking
That's
bias,
a bold
guys.
claim. No 3-star reviews.
Wow.
So we literally have a couple 2 stars, mostly 5-star, no 4 stars.
And some of those 2 stars don't even count. They straight up said in the message best show ever, 5 stars. Some of those are invalid, void. I don't do those.
Yeah, but basically a bunch of other reviews mainly saying the same thing. It's absolutely amazing. It's in their top 10.
Wow.
Absolutely need to watch it. This show to me really just screams, it defines anime. If somebody was like, what's anime? I would recommend this show. Be like, hey, go watch Gurren Lagann. You'll understand anime after this.
Honestly, I could see that. It is a really interesting one to tell, a first timer or a new anime watcher, because it does ramp itself up. It works its way up from plausible to it's interesting, people underground, and then slowly works its way up to the anime bullshit that Most shows are just like, look, it's a whole bunch of different colors and things transforming and people and bosses and monsters and just shit everywhere. It has a nice steady increase. It's got a nice curve for for an anime show for new people. So I see that.
Yeah, it absolutely is one of my top 10. 100%.
Hell yeah.
I would absolutely recommend watching it, and to anybody, really.
Yeah. Get yourself some chips, some salsa, a couple sandwiches.
Yeah, just binge it a whole day. You can do it. It's only 11 hours.
Yeah, sit down with some homies.
Yeah, what are you, a pansy?
Yeah.
Just watch it. Just
Get
binge
a
the whole thing.
Yeah, grab some bowls. just fucking just do it.
Just do the thing.
Do it. Yeah.
Yeah, the show literally starts on planet Earth underground and ends in the galaxy.
Yeah, like another dimension practically. It's nuts.
It's so good. Just go watch it.
Well, shit. I think I've only got like a little bit more info on Imaishi, and that's really about it. I think that's about the show.
Hit me with them facts, dog.
With Imaishi in his early career after drawing the manga for Dojinshi Circle. Wow, let me try that again. Dojinshi Circle. I can't say that. Imaishi worked as a creator. He worked at Gainax in 1995 as a key animator for Neon Genesis Evangelion. One of the best fucking anime. I love that show. Some of his early works include animation, direction, storyboarding, and key animation for FLCL, Die Buster, Oval Over, and the ending animation of Paradise Kiss. Imaishi is also known for manga scenes in Kare Kano, His and Her Circumstances, and FLCL. He went on to direct Dead Leaves, a 2004 anime film produced by Production IG, and then he also did the first episode of Cutie Honey. As a director, he debuted with Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann 2007. The anime received an Excellence Prize at the 2007 Japanese Media Arts Festival, and Imaishi himself received an individual award at the 12th Animation Kobe Festival. In 2008, the anime received both Best Television Production and Best Character Design from the Tokyo International Anime Fair. Later, he went on to work as director in the anime series Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. His main influence of being an animator and director are Yoshinori Kaneda and his works, in which all his anime titles such as Dead Leaves, Gurren Lagann, and Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt pay special tributes to him and his art. Imaishi left Gainax and established Studio Trigger back in 2011. His first directorial work at the studio is Kill la Kill, which has a ton of similarities to Gurren Lagann in terms of just the art style, kind of some of the overtop, the wacky antics of some of the characters, some of the humor, a lot of the character design. He also directed the opening for season 2 of Black Dynamite.
Ooh.
And that is what I have on Gurren Lagann. I think that's it. I think we did it.
Yeah, I think we kind of got the point across. It's a badass mech anime.
Boom. It's awesome. It's so good. You should watch it. Who doesn't like big-ass robots blowing shit up with... It's just a bunch of wacky fucking space bullshit, and then beastmen and other robots. It's awesome.
So someone, like, this is actually a pretty cool opportunity. As someone who just got to watch this for the very first time, was there a moment that stuck out to you, like, the most? Or, like, a moment where you remember thinking, like, holy shit?
Honestly, it would be the time skip. Like the part where, because I had no idea that it ever went into the future. And I went, oh, like you get to see, like, again, I didn't realize that Lord Genome wasn't, the big bad. Like at the time he was, but it's a great twist that just suddenly in the middle of the show they defeat him. And I'm like, oh shit. So what's the rest of this about then? And then it just goes to literally a whole other world.
Yeah.
It's cool to see the time skip with where humanity was in the underground and to see how far they've come, like with their, their rebuilding and structures and stuff. So it's really cool, but that all gets taken away, and there's good reason for it though. So it's a really good take on like the world ending kind of threat that most other anime get into. This one's really neat. It reminds me a lot of FLCL, actually, in terms of like the monsters and the big threat
Yeah.
are just like otherworldly beings that come to Earth that are like, we're gonna fuck you up. And
Yeah,
you're
I
like,
could see
oh
that.
shit. I guess especially with whatever the third FLCL movie was,
The third anime.
yeah, I think
See,
that,
I haven't.
yeah.
I haven't actually got to watch the second and third. I own them. I haven't watched them yet.
Oh, they're great. Yeah, they're awesome. You can check out our episode on FLCL on our Patreon at patreon.com/The Men of Zen if you want to hear a little bit more about that. We've got some other great episodes, like episodes about Toonami, Detroit Metal City,
Golden Boy.
We've got a couple other pretty good ones on there. So definitely check us out, The Men of Zen, on patreon.com/The Men of Zen. Hey, I want to give a real quick shout out to Schminkadelic for the use of our intro and outro. Thank you so much, Schminkadelic. You can find his tunes on Spotify and Apple Music. Yeah, and that's about all I think I've got. Phil, you got any last second things?
Oh man, I could talk about this show for a while, but no, I think we covered it. I don't want to look. I know we spoiled a lot, but trust me, there's a lot.
Oh yeah, there's just a lot to see visually. It's eye candy. Like you could know the whole story, but you want to watch it again. It's flashy as fuck.
It's gonna give you that happy feeling.
Yep.
And that sad feeling.
Yeah.
And then that happy feeling
You
again.
know what else is going to give me that happy feeling? When we're done with this episode. Thanks again for watching, for listening, everybody. Not for watching, unless you're on YouTube, I guess. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one, and the fuck. Thanks.
Stay zen.
Stay zen, everybody. Bye.